Hi, my name is Derek Diedrichson and welcome to Tiny Yellow House. And right here is where the super exciting mood-setting CGI explosion would be if we had the budget for it. So you have to settle for... So what'll it be, sport? Rum raisin or mint chocolate chip? This is the Gypsy Junker, another cabin I have in my backyard that I've built. It's called the Gypsy Junker because, well, it kind of looks like a gypsy wagon. It does have wheels. It's semi-portable. It weighs about 800 pounds, if I had to guess. Junker in the term, it's made out of almost nothing but junk. About 90% of it was collected material-wise from construction sites with permission, from dumpsters, you name it. Forklift pallets, discarded storm windows, and so on. I built this kind of to make a statement showing that you can build semi-viable housing or shelter, at least from the rain and the elements, using nothing but, in layman's terms, crap. So if you were homeless, there are potentially viable options, or in this economy, if you're going to soon be homeless, listen up. You mind coming back like 10 minutes or so? This shanty boat design here is pretty interesting. I'm just kidding. So one of the greatest parts about hosting this program here is that half the time I get to nap and host simultaneously. Now this is the interior of the Gypsy Junker. It's pretty sparse, bare bones like a lot of my structures, but I kind of figure why waste time on putting in crown molding, staining the interior, 9 coats of polyurethane and putting in a bidet and another flush toilet in the west wing when it is what it is. It's the Gypsy Junker. The thing's made out of junk. So here and there, when you look in the cabin, you can see there's marker writing from construction workers jotting down notes and measurements from who knows what project they were working on. The inside here is about 24 square feet, maybe a little bit less than that, and it has this cantilevered, let's say, bunk area. It's about 7 feet long or so, so if you want to have Shaquille O'Neal for a sleepover, not sure why you would. He probably wouldn't say yes to the invite either. But someone up to 7 feet long could fit in this structure for sleeping. And on the floor, if you're over 6 feet tall, you can sleep diagonally or squeeze 2 people down there. So it is possible to sleep 3 people in here, but just beware if it's family burrito night. Now another feature here, the Gypsy Junker, are these doors. They're actually, if you look closely, they're kitchen cabinet doors I got off my neighbor who was remodeling and throwing them away. They open Mr. Ed style as so. Bracken! There's a sneak peek at episode number 3. Check it out. Bill Bracken, everybody! Play some Skinner!
Are you serious?
I guess so. Gotta appeal to the southern folk.
Huh?
Big wheel, keep on turning. All right, you're right. Get out of here. The clock's up. Now, in terms of a few interesting features on this here luxury model, we have some wine bottle windows that I've incorporated. More or less, you take a wine bottle, you run it through a tile saw, cut it in half, and just with a hole saw, cut a hole in the wall and plug the wine bottles into that same size hole, caulk them naturally. They kind of provide some interesting light. We have inside a little waste vegetable oil heater that I built out of some aluminum ductwork, some old tin cans, and a recycled frying pan. It's pretty hokey, but it actually works pretty well. There's a little hurricane-style lamp on the inside with a few wicks that actually heats the place up nicely. There's some clear roofing. We've salvaged, as you can see, a couple windows, one of which I just flipped sideways, the ice cream window, as I call it. The table on the exterior of the Gypsy Junker is made out of the side of an old washing machine, one that I had that crapped out after a few years. There's some soda bottle windows I incorporated into the lower sleeping area, kind of as an experiment. I cut the ends off some 2-liter bottles and plugged them into different holes I cut out with a hole saw into the wall as well. And I do this once in a while when I build little forts or cabin, shacks, shanties. I always try to incorporate a built-in birdhouse or something funky like this. I had some extra scraps of wood and painted it, put up this little birdhouse, wondering, I wonder if any birds would actually take residence in this. And sure enough, after about 2 weeks, there's some bird nesting up inside there. So actually this sleeps more than 3 people if you have to. Inside this cabin here, it's about 60 degrees right now. Earlier today it was 29, 30 degrees in that ballpark. With the windows closed and the doors, it warms up pretty quickly because of the clear roof and the south-facing windows. At some point in time, I just ordered some seeds from afewgoodplants.com, who are very reputable. I've worked with them in the past. I'm going to build some shelves in here to see if I can try my hand at growing vegetables and whatnot inside this fort/greenhouse/cold frame. Who knows? That will perhaps be a future episode of Tiny Yellow House. I'm a big fan of old books. Most of these I've read, but some of them here and there I go to a tag sale. The Power and the Glory by Graham Greene. It's just so old school looking. It's great. Or these old editions. I'm a big Steinbeck fan. Check this one out. The Pearl. Just the art's great in these kind of things. So I just like my little forts and cabins stocked with a wide array of old school literature as the dust flies out of the book. Haven't read this one too recently. By the way, in terms of my stove, as I lug the fuel over, it runs on vegetable oil, like I said. This little jar here, a baby food jar of vegetable oil, will burn in that stove for probably about 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. So instead of hauling in logs and wood here, there you go. Very simple, very space efficient. That about wraps it up for this edition of Tiny Yellow House. Thank you for joining us once again. We appreciate it oh so much. Next time around, I just picked up this drum from Meinl. It's a Doombeck, a hand drum. The thing is awesome, and it's hand carved, metal etched. It's gorgeous. So I'll be doing an edition tying in musical rehearsal spaces, kind of small scale, lo-fi instruments, let's say, and tiny houses, tiny dwellings. I'm bringing in a guitarist who you saw earlier in this episode, and we'll be covering musical instruments as pieces of furniture. There is a tie-in. It's pretty cool. We'll be talking about that and see what it brings on the next edition of Tiny Yellow House. Thank you for joining us. See ya! I feel like I got something on my teeth. I'm your host, Pizza Tooth. Is there anything that's showing too much of my teeth?